And speaking of partners, one of our top ISV BI analytics partners is Tableau, and I want to welcome Nick Brazou.
Thanks,
Director of Product Management. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Nick, welcome to Denodo Data Fest. Tableau's been a great partner for us. We're bi-directionally working on making the integrations between our products fantastic. But before we go into that, tell me. You're a leader in the analytics, discovery, self-service, BI space. What do you see as a couple of the top trends that you guys are seeing in the market, and how do you see the vision of Tableau in the context of the acquisitions that has just happened?
Sure. So I'll address the acquisition first.
Yes, sure.
We actually aren't really allowed to talk about it, unfortunately, because
Okay.
we're still waiting for approval from the UK.
Okay.
Our last
All right.
regulatory step. So we're almost there. So hopefully
Okay.
in the near future we'll be able to talk a little bit
All
more
right.
about it. I think the trends are probably very similar trends that Denodo's been seeing, which is the digital transformation trend continues. Many organizations are still, early in their journey. I think the other interesting trend is, although many companies are starting to look at ML and AI as a potential way to extend what they can do with analytics, I think we're still in the early stages because most organizations still struggle with getting a handle on their data.
Right.
And so that problem still remains.
Yes, and it will remain for a long time.
It will.
I mean, until every company that's watching buys Denodo data virtualization, then the problem will go away. But until then.
Well, and that, you bring up a good point, which is one of the things that Tableau has brought to the market is the ability for anybody to do analytics, and of course that relies on data. And when you have a lot of questions and you want to ask the next question, you have to be able to not only access that data, but find it. And of course, that's why our partnership's so great, because you help solve an important problem for our customers, which is, how do I find my data? How do I trust it? And
Right.
can I get access to the right thing? At the right time.
Yeah, and I think we're pretty clear that we want to remain this kind of the Switzerland in this data. As Angel, our CEO, said, there's a gap between all of the data stores and what IT is doing with the data, and the more business-oriented use of the data, which you pioneered by putting these tools, Tableau, in the hands directly of the business users. But that disconnect is what we try to solve by bringing data from all of these disparate sources that might be changing into the hands of the customers to discover through our catalog, et cetera.
Right.
Now, coming to the idea that I want to raise that you have built you have various products in the Tableau lineup. Your desktop server, your online, et cetera. How would you say is the integration, as you see it, between Tableau and Denodo today?
I think I'll highlight two really important aspects that Denodo brings. So the first one is, in the old BI world, when you just had the data warehouse and everything was centralized, you implemented governance by restricting access. Mm-hmm. And the new way of doing things, when you want to extend analytics to everybody, is not to restrict, but to govern, right? Which is understanding who's accessing what and doing what and what they're doing with it.
Right.
That's the first thing. Then there's the additional challenge of there's all kinds of data sources out there, right? And the more you can, free up people and use agile methods to go access that data, you give them the ability to answer more questions.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the two of the biggest things that Denodo really brings for our customers, which is why most of the customers that I talk to, those are the reasons that they invest in Denodo and why they love it.
Yeah, and we're also very, very grateful because, when we make these partnerships work from what we call the northbound, you guys are connecting to us. Tableau has been very gracious in helping us give all of your test data on your reporting, et cetera, so we can thoroughly test the connectivity between Tableau queries coming into Denodo and make sure that it works from the cloud, it works from on-prem, et cetera. And so that's been very, very helpful to our development team. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And also, I would like to point out that on the other direction, you see in the Denodo catalog, you can right-click or something with a single click and open up Tableau to visualize some of the data that you just started to discover. So, that to me is a true kind of a bi-directional partnership that we should do. Now, one last thing I want to, if you want something as a takeaway for our audience here, online audience in particular, is there a particular topic, report, key message that you would like to leave them with?
Sure. Certainly you can go and check out our virtual booth in the
Okay.
virtual summit where you can get some additional information. I think one key item is Tableau recently released a feature around cataloging its own content.
Okay.
And one of the areas that we're going to be investing in with Denodo is, of course, being able to let Denodo bring even more content and information about what Tableau users are doing.
Okay.
Which will, of course, allow more people to understand what's going on in their data platform and their analytics.
It's all about marketplace and exposure to
Yes.
data and report access. So fantastic.
Set the data free.
Yes. Well, thank you, Nick, for
You're welcome.
joining us, and thank you for being a sponsor at the Denodo Data Fest.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yes.